All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got some red, yellow Sabo action lined up for you today in OP12. That's right, guys. We got some fun stuff to look at. We're messing around with Goa still. Okay, I've got another red, yellow Sabo build in the works, but we're going to be going over how is the Goa Kingdom version of red, yellow Sabo doing against the OP12 meta. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and their summer kickoff sale is live. They're offering 10 to 40% off site-wide across the entire store. For a limited time, get a free playmat tube with every Sun God playmat purchase while supplies last. Also, don't forget to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 10% off. All right, let's go ahead and break down the deck list for today's video. Notice we're over on gumgum.gg because I did get a lot of inspiration for today's video, for today's deck list we're going to be featuring for Sabo. I basically copied this list and made a few modifications, and that's about it, okay? So I'm going to run through these cards real quick, and then we're going to check out my deck list, and you guys are going to see how similar they are. And when we get over to the sim, we'll be able to, I'll be able to mouse over the cards for the newer players to pause and read what they do if they don't already know. And one more thing I want to say to the newer players out there, if you're interested in getting more into Red Yellow Sabo and taking it more seriously, I have an entire, I think it's like a 40-hour playlist of Red Yellow Sabo content that will be linked in the comment section below. Okay, now let's do this, guys. So here's the leader, of course, running 4 of the Dawn Reassignment Nami, 4 of the Searcher Garp, 4 of the 2K Counter Zeus, 4 of Ace and Luffy, the Goa Kingdom 2-cost characters, 3 Sanji, 3 Zoro, 3 Kikanojo, 3 of the new OP12 blocker Shanks, 4 Satori, 2 Sabo, 4 ST21 Luffy, 3 of the ST13 Ace, 3 of the new OP12 Kuma, and then 1 You're the One Who Should Disappear, and 1 Three Brothers Bond. Okay, so this is an early OP12 Red Yellow Sabo list that won a standard battle. It got first place at a standard battle, which was probably some kind of store tournament. I don't know how many people were at the tournament or who they played against, but it's nice to see an early Red Yellow Sabo representation from the East in OP12. Okay, so there's the list we were using as inspiration for today's video, because we have a lot to talk about, especially in this 3 to 4 cost spot here. Okay, whoops, I don't know what I just did. Okay, now moving over to the sim. The only differences that I made is they were using the 1-cost Searcher event, the 0-cost event. I took both of those out and basically went, +1 Kuma and +1 Sanji. And then I did -1 Zoro to go +1 Kikanojo, and then I went -1 Ace to go +1 Sabo. Okay, the 2K counter. Now, let me run through the list real quick for the newer players so they can pause and read what each card does. This is the leader, of course. We're still running 4 Nami, 4 the Sanji. We're running 4 Sanji. They were only running 3. We're running 3 Shanks, only 2 Zoro instead of 3. 4 of ST21 Luffy, probably the best card in the deck. It really is what makes this deck go now. 4 Searcher Garp, 4 of the 2K Counter Zeus, 4 of each of the 2-cost brothers here, Ace and Luffy, 4 Kikanojo, 4 Satori, 3 Sabo, 2 Ace, and 4 Kuma. So one thing I want to talk about, there's something very interesting going on in the 3-cost and 4-cost spot in this deck, and I guess technically the 6 spot as well, the 6-cost spot. A very low to the ground curve, so it's meant to be played pretty aggressively, but at the same time, check this out. Check out what's going on here. Sanji, Zoro, Kikanojo, and this Kuma, they all have on KO effects. So in other words, we don't really care if they get KO'd. That doesn't mean we should just give the character up if we can be more aggressive and go for lethal and stuff. But here's the thing. We don't really mind if these cards get KO'd, right? Like in the case of Kuma and Kikanojo, if they get KO'd, we can gain a life, right? Potentially. Kikanojo, they have to be at, your opponent has to be at 3 or less life. But Kuma just says, opponent's turn on KO, add the top card of your deck to the top of your life cards. So Kuma just gains a life no matter what when he gets KO'd, as long as it is on your opponent's turn. And then Kikanojo, this one is just if your opponent has 3 or less life, you're gaining a life. Zoro, his effect is not as strong in my opinion, but it's not that it's bad. On KO, you may play a red character with 6,000 base power or below other than Zoro from your hand. There's not a lot of targets in the deck. There's really only 3. I mean, I guess you could technically cheat out a Nami if you had to, but, you know, you have the 5-cost 6k Luffy, you have the 4-cost 6k Shanks, and then you have the 3-cost, it's like a 3-cost 6k Sanji, right? So, pretty decent card. I did go down one. I went -1 of these and -1 Ace, because Ace is another one. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but this Zoro, I don't really find myself wanting to play it out very much, but at least it is a 1k counter, so that's nice, right? So it does have that like backup plan going for it, and then later in the game you can attach a Dawn to it, attach 2 Dawn to it to give it rush. So Ace, I've gone down to 2 of these, because I don't know what it is. I'm really just always going to search for Luffy pretty much every single time, and I'm going to try to bounce these around in my life using cards like the 2-cost Ace. Excuse me, like using the 2-cost Luffy. I just think the card's better all around. Ace is pretty nice once it hits the board, though. If it has to stick on the board, it's a 7k body, which is easier to defend. But a lot of times what I notice is they just remove the card, right? And then the worst part about Ace is if we're not at 2 or less life, this is just a dead card in hand, right? We have to wait till we get down to 2 life. So because of that, I have, you know, basically swapped this card out for another one of these Kumas, right? Because in the deck we were just looking at, they had 3 Ace and 3 Kuma. I pretty much just went, all right, -1 Ace, +1 Kuma. Technically, I guess you could say -1 Ace, +1 Sabo, because they're both like the 5-cost brothers. But still, it's just, that's just kind of how it worked out, however you want to like translate it in your mind. But yeah, other than that, the deck seems pretty strong. This new Shanks seems very, very good. It's a 4-cost 6k blocker. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, trash a card and give up to one of your opponent's leader or characters -2,000 power during this turn. So you're going to be able to knock down some attacks, and if you can play this character out and push a character into your life, you can make this into an 8,000 power blocker, which is really, really solid. What else? I think that's really about it, guys. Everything else from Sabo, we've kind of already seen it happen, right? We already know what Sabo does by now, at least for the players who've been following Sabo for a while now. But if you're a newer player, this is really a pretty straightforward build. Now, I will say this. I don't know how much I love this card in the deck right now. I'll try to talk more about it at the end and tell you what I think about this card. And the same thing with Zoro. I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if we need it. And the last direction I was building Red Yellow Sabo, let me see something if I have it. I deleted all my old lists, guys. Yeah, so it's not on here. We'll talk about this one at the end if I remember, guys. There's a new direction I'm trying to build Sabo. I think I might have teased at it in the intro, but I'm trying to build Sabo in a slightly different direction moving forward, but that's still a work in progress. But even when I was building the Goa Kingdom version of Red Yellow Sabo, I was really just preferring to just go a straight up Straw Hat package where we still have Sanji, we have the Luffy, we have like pretty much everything, and the only thing that I needed that was Goa Kingdom was pretty much just the 2-cost Luffy. Everything else was like a Straw Hat searchable card, like this Sanji and like this Luffy. So we'll have to see what happens. I do need to get back to the drawing board with Red Yellow Sabo. I've been so busy, guys, with, you know, now that the Sim's been updated, I have so much that I want to try out, guys. When the Sim came out, I think I might have already mentioned this in yesterday's video. My apologies, guys, if it's getting repetitive. But hear me out. When the Sim got updated, which was, I believe it was yesterday, right? It was yesterday or the day before. And when it got updated, I had a bunch of decks already made, right? I deleted everything in preparation for OP12 so I could start off on a blank slate, right? And here we are now. I'm already at like 16 or 17 decks or something like that already. That's what we've been cooking over here. I've got a lot to share, but you got to be patient, one video at a time. All right, so let's do this, guys. That's enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get into some games on the Sim and see what the deck can do. All right, first game up is going to be versus Rayleigh. That's right, guys. I tried to focus on only OP12 leaders for today's video just to kind of give an idea on how Red Yellow Sabo is doing into the new OP12 leaders. All right, so here we go. First game up is Rayleigh. Like I said, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. So I think with this version of the deck, we really don't care if we go first or second. Now, Rayleigh's going to go first. They're going to play out a Buggy. We're going to play out Garp. And that's good in this situation. We don't really have any slash characters on the board. So we will be able to attack into Buggy as soon as the card goes sideways and not really have to worry too much about it. But I don't think we care if we go first or second in this deck. Going second gives us a 2-4-6 curve where we go, you know, Searcher into Kikinojo into Kuma. But if we're going first, we get to go 1-3-5 with Nami, Sanji, and then one of our 5 costs. So here we go. So Rayleigh is filling out the board here. They're practicing a lot of discipline, and they're not just throwing their board away. They want to fill out their board and try to get us down in one turn, try to attack us down in one turn here. But because we have the Nami, watch what we can do here, guys. Watch what we can do here. Actually, it's not this turn. I think it's the next turn. Watch this, guys. We're going to play out the Kuma, trashing a card from hand. We go up to 3 life. We swing in for 6. We're going to add Kuma back to our life. We're going to swing in for 8. They're down to 2 life, and we went up to 4 life, guys. With Kuma in 1 turn with that Nami on 6 Dawn, we were able to gain 2 life. Okay? So here we go. They're going to swing in for 5. I can tell they're going to do a bunch of 5K attacks. We're going to take the Kuma back first of all, so we have a nice 1K counter if we need to use it. But we're going to give them 2K counters first. I'd rather be able to recycle that Kuma if we need to later on. That Kuma is a really nice new card for us, guys. They're going to swing for 7. We will take that. We get a Kikinojo trigger. We do take those. We will take that. Okay. And here we go. Now we're on an 8 Dawn turn, and we have the Dawn reassignment Nami. All right. So now, unfortunately, those Kikinojos, those are slash characters. So we can't actually attack into those buggies with our Kikinojos. They're immune to slash. Right, so we can't really do that. But do we want to do that, or do we want to go for game? Watch this, guys. Watch this. So we're going to swing for 7. We played out the ace. We have 2 Dawn left for the turn. We had 3 Dawn, but we attached 1 Dawn to our Kikinojo. Now watch this. We're going to attach a rested Dawn to our leader. We're going to push the ace back to our life. We're going to play out the little ace. We're going to swing for 7. So we swung for 6, 7, 7 more, and then it's going to be 8 more. Okay? They take it, and then it's going to be for 8 more. Now, they're gonna survive. They had enough counter power in hand. But watch this, guys. We have 2 life, and they have 5 attacks. They have 6 attacks. We're in a lot of trouble, right? Not really. Not really, actually, right? Because of how small their board is. And notice our leader is 7,000 power. So they just swung in for 7. We're going to give them a 1K counter. They swing in for 7. We'll give them a 1K counter. You guys see where this is going? This is not going well for our opponent. That's right. They're going to attack in for 7. We'll take that, and that's going to be game. They realized, wait a minute, I can only swing for 7 one more time. Did they want to start swinging for 6s into my characters here? Okay, I'll just gain a life and go for the board next turn, gaining more life with my leader effect. I mean, if we can just go for game there, because guys, they had to win on this turn, or it's over, right? We could just go 15 to face. They have no blocker, right? So good game to my opponent. That was a rough one for them. That one was pretty rough, but hey. When it comes to like buffing the power of your leader, going up to 7,000 power, it does very well against these go wide decks. Really good stuff there. Okay. Next game up we have, so that was against Rayleigh. Now we got a game versus Black Yellow Koala. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x. Now remember, guys, people are still learning these new leaders and learning new play lines with the deck. So let's be nice to our opponents here, because you're probably going to see some mistakes pop up. It happens, right? Again, people are learning the new decks. Hey, I'm learning a new version of Red Yellow Sabo here, and I haven't played Sabo in a while. I'm a little bit rusty as well. You'll probably see some mistakes from me as well. So we swing it for 8. They just go ahead and take that. They try to use a Karasu trigger there. You have to have 5 or less life between you and your opponent, though, to get that trigger. So they did waste that, unfortunately. But they attack in. We have Kikinojo as our top life. Guys, if Kikinojo could just be our top life card every time, that would be ideal. That would be great. So here we go. Our hand is, it looks really good, but at the same time, those are all bricks, guys. That's not really great. So watch this. We're going to swing for 6. I want to put the Kikinojo into life. I'm going to lose 2,000 power this turn, unfortunately. We're going to swing in for 6 here. Now we're going to attach a Dawn to Kikinojo. We're just going to swing a Kikinojo now, and then we're going to push that into life. That's just the way it was, guys. Sometimes the Dawn doesn't work out perfectly. We lost 2,000 power on attack. Not a big deal. Okay? And again, it's not that I missed sequence. I don't think I could do what I wanted to do there properly and push the Kikinojo into life. Okay? So here we go. So we get the Kikinojo back out, and they see what's going on here. It's like, okay, wow, they've got another, yeah, we got another Luffy. And they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a 2K actually. So they had 5K counter in hand. But here's the problem. We're going to keep now on this turn, we could do things in the order I wanted, where we put the one Dawn on Kikinojo to swing for 7 first and then go from there. Because then we could go swing 7, 7, 7, I believe, with the Nami. Yeah, that was going to be brutal there, guys. And I actually went out of order. I shouldn't have swung with the Luffy first. I should have attached a Dawn to Kikinojo and swing for 7 first there, and then go about things like that. But either way, good game to my opponent. That was a rough one. I know that was a quick game. Not the best showing for Black Yellow Koala, but that's a deck everyone's still trying to figure out, and I don't know how well it's going to do into very heavy aggro decks like what we see right here, or like Bello Betty or Zoro, if it doesn't start incorporating some removal into it. I see they're running Ursus Shock, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think blockers and removal is going to be the way to go with black-yellow Koala, extend the game out to the late game, and then start dropping dragons to get extra value then. But who knows, we'll have to try and figure things out. Okay, next up we have the game versus green Zoro. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. That's right, guys, we got a game versus green Zoro. I think I got every single matchup today from OP12 outside of purple-yellow Rosinante. There's not a lot of those on the sim right now, to be fair, so it was kind of hard to find those. Okay, and like I said, guys, let's be nice. Obviously, our opponent just made a blunder there. They meant to use the Dawn to... they probably were thinking, hang on, let me pause. So we play out the Nami here. We're going to swing in with the Garp and swing in with our leader. But they were trying to use Hiyori there to rest down and to do a search. What they don't realize is they actually just saved that Hiyori's life, right? Because I was going to get rid of that card no matter what. But now I don't want, you know, my entire play this turn was going to be swing 2 into Hiyori and then swing 8 into face. They've completely messed up my play by making that mistake. So that was one of those happy little mistakes, right? Where it ends up being like, oh, maybe that wasn't the worst mistake in the world. So now I'm going to swing for 5. And here we go. Now, we could have just swung for 8, but notice what we did there, guys. Pause. One more thing I want to mention. Notice when we swing for 5 twice, they either have to give us 2 life or 2 cards from hand or a life and a card from hand. There is no other option, right? So if we had just swung for 8, they would have just taken the life and they wouldn't have lost any cards from their hand. But by swinging for 5 twice that turn, they had to give me a 2K counter in this case, and then they took a card from life. Okay, here we go. So now they're going to play out the, now they're going to tap 1 for the Hiyori here. They're probably just going to load the remaining Dawn on their leader. They get to get rid of my board and swing 8 at face. Seems good. Yep, we're not going to defend that. And they swing at 8 for face. We're not going to defend our first attack, not in this situation. Even though there might have been some merit to do that in case, you know, we had a Land of Wano trigger on top of our life. So right here, I swing 1 into 0, and I'm thinking, okay, I thought he probably would save it, and then afterwards I was like, wait a minute, I should have attached 1 more Dawn to Nami with her effect after playing out Luffy, and then I could have done things a little bit differently. So right here, I get a little bit greedy, and I swing 6 at face and then 7 at face. Okay? And of course, we are going to send that card right back to our life, and that way he cannot attack into it. If he wants to attack into the Nami, be my guest, right? It doesn't matter. That's fine. That'll take him to 3 Dawn for the turn. He'll have to use that in that way. And we probably weren't going to keep the Nami around after that because of all the ways they have to rest down characters in Zoro. And after turn 3, you really don't need the Nami anymore. It still helps if you can keep it around, but you don't necessarily need it anymore for the explosive early plays. All right, so here we go. We're on a 7 Dawn turn now. We can't quite do every... Now, if we had the Nami here, we could have done a pretty nasty turn here with the 2-cost Luffy with the 5-cost. But that's okay. We're just going to push that card back. We're going to swing in for 6. They'll give us a 1-cost 3K. We're going to play out the Garp here. We're going to search up what we need to. We grab another 2-cost Luffy. We already have 1 in hand. We grabbed another one. And here we go. Let's see what they choose to do here. Now, I will say this. Once we start slamming down those 2-cost, the 5-cost Luffys into the 2-cost Luffys, our opponent's going to be in quite a bit of trouble, right? Because we're going to be able to go up to 7,000 power, and their leader attack is no longer super scary anymore when we can just 2K counter out of it. Okay, they attack in. Thank you very much. We wanted that. And now they're going to attack in for another hit here. We're actually probably going to just counter out of this, guys. Actually, no, excuse me. We're going to take this because, like I said, we're going to get up to 7,000 power this turn. Okay, so we're going to swing for 7 into that card. We'll give a Dawn to the Luffy because we have to push it to life. It has to be 7,000 power. We're going to now play... I think we're just going to, push the Luffy into life, play out the 2-cost. We'll attack. Do we attack in a face here? Okay, good. We attack into the Hiyori. That thing got too much value. Like I said, I should have got rid of that earlier. That was a little bit greedy, but hey, lesson learned. It happens. Right here, they're going to play out the beige. They're obviously going to attack into my Monkey D. Luffy here, unfortunately. Yep. So there's Tashigi, allowing them to attach 3 Dawn for free to their leader. It's like a 2-cost 7K. That Tashigi's like a 2-cost 7K, guys. That's crazy because it attaches the rest of its Dawn to your leader. So they swing in for 10. We end up taking that. Or actually, did we counter out of that? We might have countered out, guys. We might have countered out. And here we go. We're going to swing in for 7 with Ace. They give us a 1-cost 3K. Okay, no problem. We're going to push the Ace back into life, I think. It looks like we're going to use the Zeus first. Yeah, we're going to use the effect there, getting rid of the Tashigi to slow them down. We're going to go up to 7,000 power for this turn. Again, right, we were at 7,000 power last turn as well. And now we're smashing in for 7, smashing in for 8. They have no board. They're down to 2 life. And guys, notice my hand. It's not going to get any better for them. things are definitely not going to get any better for them. I do think red yellow Sabo is pretty decent into green Zoro if you play it very methodically. You're making sure you're not missing any sequencing. Make sure you're not missing any of your sequences, and gaining life as much as you can and getting to 7,000 power as much as you can. I think this leader is actually going to be kind of decent into Zoro because they can't just rush us down. We can gain life. I'm sure they'll be able to get specific pools where they can. They're going to swing in for 8 here. We're actually going to take this, I think, because I just don't want to lose that ace. Yeah, like I say, okay, I'm not losing that ace. Here's a 2K counter, and now we can have an insanely explosive turn here. And I think I mess it up, guys. Watch this. Yep. Shouldn't have done that. It should have been a 7K attack with my Luffy first. So, guys, remember what I was just saying about sequencing, right? Watch this. Pause. We're going to talk about it because the game is over. There's still 3 attacks left for the turn, right? We're going to play out, or excuse me, there's still 2 attacks left for the turn. They only have 3 cards in hand, and these attacks are going to be massive. But here's how it should have gone. Play out the 5-cost Luffy, swing for 7. Okay, I think they were able to get out of the first 7K attack from Ace. That's fine. Now we attach it onto our leader. We push the Luffy into life, give plus 2,000 to the Ace. We play out the 2-cost Ace, and then we pull out the Luffy to swing for 7 more. And then with the rest of that, we can load up on our leader and load up on our Ace, and it'll be like I think it'll be like a 10K and an 11K or something like that. There's pretty much no way they're getting out of it. But either way, good game to my opponent. It's over now. They only have a single 1K counter left in hand, and like I said, even if I only had my leader attack left, he'd be gone. But no, we're going to push this Luffy back into life, play out the 2-cost Luffy, and go from there. Good game to my opponent. Okay, next up we got a game versus blue Kuzan. Okay, volume is off, speed is on, whoops, hang on, speed's on 2K, or 2K, speed's on 2X, and here we go. All right, Kuzan, man. Now, I will say, this seemed like a very tough matchup. Blue Kuzan being able to bounce stuff around and kind of block her up and go super massive on the board. It's one thing when I only have to stop like a single 8K or like, maybe 2 8K attacks with my leader being at 7,000. But when they have an entire board of 8,000 power characters, yeah, that gets a little bit crazy. It gets a little bit scary. Okay, they're going to play out Sengoku here to fix their hand a little bit. Drawing the cards they need. Look at this, guys. They're going to go from 6 cards here to, I think, like, they'll go minus, they'll draw 2, and then they'll draw another one. Look at that. They went from 6 cards to, like, what is it, like, 9? That's crazy. Okay, here we go. So we do take that first hit. We're going to play out the Luffy. We're going to swing for 6 and swing for 6. I'm trying to get the 2K counters out of my opponent's hand here. There we go. There's one of them. I'm trying to, so understand this, guys. Most of the time, let me pause real quick and explain something to some of the, especially to the newer players out there. I recommend whenever you're attacking, do odd thousands into odd thousands and even thousands into even thousands. What does that mean? If your opponent's leader is 5,000 power, swing 5,000 into them, 7,000 power into them, or 9,000 power into them, or anything above that, of course. But 5, 7, 9 into 5, okay? And if they're a 6,000 power leader, swinging 6, 8, 10, and so on is kind of the way to go into the 6,000 power leaders. And the same thing would translate if you drop the power of a leader down to 4,000 with something like a Karasu, right? Okay, well then go 4s, 6s, 8s, and 10s, and so on from there. So again, odd thousands into odd thousands and even thousands into even thousands, generally speaking. However, in this situation here, my opponent has about 1 billion cards in hand, right? So I want to get all the 2K counters out of their hands specifically. Like, I'm trying to target certain cards from their hand. I don't care, I want to get as many quality attacks across the board as I can, because here's what might happen if I don't do it like that. Say I swing in for 5 and then 7. Okay, well, they'll just counter out of the 5 with a 1K, and then they'll take the take the 7. Okay, but if I swing for 2 6s, they either have to give me a 2K and then take a hit, or they have to give me double 1K. I'll take that as well. If they want to give me 2 cards, that's fine as well. Hopefully the logic made sense there. If you guys have any questions about that, please say something in the comments section below. All right, now here we go. They're going to swing 5 into me. I don't want to take that too greedily because I don't have an ace in hand. If I had a 5-cost 7K ace in hand, I probably would have taken that a little bit. I'd have been a little bit more greedy with that, but we don't have that. Okay, so here we go. That new Kuzan is insane. Now we don't get to attack with our other Luffy, but that's also fine. It's not the end of the world. They're going to use... They get a trigger from Ice Block Pheasant Peck, which allows them to draw a card and trash a card. It's something. It's like you trash a card from your hand, so you end up like drawing 2 with it. It's something crazy like that. Really, really solid trigger there. Okay, we swing in for 7. We establish the Nami, and here we go. We push our Luffy back to life. We establish the Nami, and we can go from here. We have a pretty promising turn if they decide to not attack into our life here, because then we'll be able to We'll be able to do a lot of tricks. Hang on. All right, so they are going to attack in. We take the 8K hit. We're going to 2K out of the 5, and now they're going to play out the Garp and play out the Aramaki. Seems good, right? See, so, guys, this is what I was talking about. It's one thing when there's only like a 5K on the board and like the leader swings for 8, like with Zoro. But in this case, this guy has 3 8Ks on the board. So we're going to play out the 5-cost Luffy. We're going to swing for 7, moving Dawn around as needed with the Nami and the Luffy. We're going to buff that Luffy. Now, here we go. It looks like I need to play out the 2-cost Luffy here. Yeah, or I might even put a blocker down. No, we're going to play out the 2-cost Luffy. We're going to go hyper-aggressive here. I'm trying to do a little bit of math to make sure I did everything properly. Here we go. We're going to swing in for 8 after the effect. And then we're going to be able to swing in for 9 and then 9. So swing 9, swing 9. And Aramaki is a blocker, so they will be able to block here. Okay. And they just let it go. Okay, that was good for us, the fact that went away. So they swing 8 into 6. We're going to let that go because we have an 8K Luffy on the board still from our leader's effect. The fact that they let that Aramaki go is kind of crazy, right? Because it's like, whoa, they didn't have... Do they not have any counter in hand? They might not. They might not have any good counter in hand. Or maybe they're out of 2Ks, right? They might be out of 2Ks because we were hitting them earlier with it. All right, so it looks like we did draw the new Kuma for the turn, so maybe we'll be able to do some life gain tricks with that. But actually, it looks like I want to establish a blocker instead. But, you know, let me pause for a second. We can actually still gain 2 life this turn while playing out the Kuma, excuse me. That seems like a really solid play line. I'm looking at this just now, realizing what we could have done on this turn is we could have actually... swing for 7 with Luffy, right? So play out the Shanks. We do need to do that first so we can use our Nami to give a Dawn to our leader, and then swing in for 7 with a Luffy. And then actually we probably could just like swing 6 and then swing 7 if we did proper sequencing there. And then with our remaining 6 Dawn, we can play out the Kuma, trashing, I don't know, maybe the Sanji in our hand to gain a life, and then pushing our Luffy into our life with our leader effect and making our Shanks into an 8,000 power blocker. So we would gain 2 life in the process. That would have probably been a much better play line, but I don't think I'd do that here. Okay, here we go. And they do have a Borsalino now. They do have a Borsalino on the board. We're going to swing for 9. I'm trying to eat their hand up a little bit because I don't want them to just be able to, sit around and, get value from their leader effect. Because, guys, this blue Kuzan deck draws a lot of cards. Okay, they have 5 cards left here. We're going to smash in for 10. That's going to force the blocker. We're going to push the Luffy back to life. Plus 2,000 power to our Shanks. And here we go. I think I used the Nami that turn. Did I forget, guys? I think I might have forgotten, but I think I did use it. Okay, they're going to play out Sengoku. They're trying to fix their hand to the best of their ability. And, guys, that Sengoku is incredible. It's basically a draw 3, right? It's a pay 3. It's like a trash 1, draw 3 is what it ends up being for 3 Dawn. Really, really good stuff there. And it's a 3K body and a 1K counter in hand. It's actually just a really good card. Okay, here we go. They play out a Toshiga. They're desperately searching for something. I think they're probably searching for some type of counter power. So right here, they're going to swing in for 8. We're just going to take that so we can get Luffy back in hand. Now we're going to block the 8K, and we're going to give him a 1K counter, because I'm basically saying to this guy, you're not going to attack all in. You're not going to go all in and try to get rid of my Shanks, so I'm going to cash in on the value from that while I can. We're going to take this hit. Ends up being a Satori, but guys, we were going for it this turn here. We were about to go all in. And then we top deck a 2-cost Luffy. That was going to be a nightmare for my opponent. They have no Dawn active. This game is just flat out over, guys, especially after the Satori. And then also the top deck 2-cost Luffy. Guys, we still had 3 attacks left. So it was going to be swing 7 with Luffy, like you guys just saw. Push that to life. Swing 7 with Satori. That's when he left. And then we were going to be able to attach a Dawn to Shanks to swing for 7. Play out the 2-cost Luffy. Pulling out the Luffy again. Swinging for 7 more. And then swing for 9. That was... The deck can go nuclear, guys. That's the way I like to say it. It can be very, very strong. All right, we got one more game, guys. We got a game versus Blue Purple Sanji. All right, this deck is very interesting to me. And buckle up here, guys. We got a 17-minute game. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. Here we go. 17-minute game. In fact, if I remember correctly, notice the Blue Purple Sanji's deck during this game. He is going to draw a lot of cards, and I will bring that up later on when it gets to that point. And it's very relevant. They're going to draw a lot of cards this game, guys, a lot of cards. So here we go. They're already starting to draw like crazy. They're fixing their hand. They don't even have to reveal the card from that 1-cost searcher that they have. They're going to play out a buff burst. They're going to, with their leader effect to draw cards, swing in to get their Dawn back, playing out a Trafalgar Law to block with. keeping their hand size low while establishing a blocker. I do like that Trafalgar Law a lot in Sanji. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get a Kikanojo on the board. Was that our first life card? Or no, excuse me, we played that out for the turn. We swing for 5. They took that one. They bounce our card back. They develop a ratio, and here we go. We're going to swing for 5. They can just give us a 5 cost, yeah, the blocker here. They choose to 2K counter out. That's fine with me. We're going to trash a card from hand to gain a life with Kuma, and now we have an 8 cost 7K on the board. Okay, well, they have a red rock, so I guess that doesn't matter at all, right? Not relevant. Sorry, guys, not relevant, but no, that red rock was pretty strong there. That's the only target in my deck they have to worry about for something like that, because everything else we're going to throw back into life. So here we go. We're going to swing for 7 into 5. Let's see if they choose to take this or maybe choose to block. Okay, they're going to Gum Giant very early on. Again, guys, this Sanji is about to draw some cards. So we're going to swing for 5 with the Garp here. We do have to whittle them down, you know, just ever so slightly each turn. Gonna try to get some value from these Garps. So notice we swing into the 7K Reiju. They don't use the 1 cost blocker law. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe they want to save the blocker law for later on in the game, because they did have very low hand size. Okay, but I still think I would have protected that Reiju. That's just me. That's just me. But they're also probably not worried about attacking enemy and giving me my Luffy back, because I'm just going to keep looping that over and over again. Okay, so here we go. Like I said, we are in fact going to loop that over and over again. We're going to play out the Luffy. We're going to smash in for 7 here. Just little 7K pokes here and there. We're trying to get cards out of their hand. We're trying to use up the events that they have so they can't use them against us on offense. Because some of these cards, like I think it was Buff Burst, they can choose to either draw cards or bounce our cards and stuff like that. So we have to, you know, try to force these cards out of their hand. So we're going to attach 1 Dawn to our leader here. I think we're going to push the Luffy. Actually, we're going to swing for 8. We need to push the Luffy back. Yep. And now we're going to plus 2,000 to the Shanks. So we have an 8,000 power blocker. We're back up to 4 life. We're a 7,000 power leader this turn with an 8,000 power blocker. We're in a very good spot here. They're going to play out another Reiju. And let's see if they decide to turn this Sanji sideways, because that could become our new target. And let me tell you, okay, they're going to use the Brochet Blow to drop our Shanks down to from an 8,000 down to a 5,000 power character. That's unfortunate, right? They're going to swing for 7. I think we do want to take one of these hits. Yeah, we take that one so we get our Luffy back to keep our loop going. And now they only have 3 Dawn left for the turn, and we're a 7,000 power leader. So if they want to add the final 2 Dawn to their leader to attack into us, that's fine with me, right? We'll take that every time. So they get another Buff Burst there, and here we go. Okay, rinse and repeat. This is what Luffy is so good at doing in this deck, guys. This is what Red Yellow Sabo is so good at doing, is just rinsing and repeating. Just keep those 7K attacks coming, knock their hand size down, gain a life in the process, and now we can go from here. So we do have the Sanji on the board, the 3 cost, and I'm going to try to get some. I'm going to attack it with that immediately, just in case they buff burst it or push it out of the way with like the Jet Culverin pistol or whatever it's called. You know, I don't want to keep any of these cards on my board. I'm not afraid to turn sideways. Okay, we're going to swing in for 8. Now we're going to swing in for 9. They give us the blocker, and here we go. They're going to protect those 3 cost Sanjis at all costs, right? Because if they can protect those cards, they become massive, and you can't just remove them. You can't just remove them with removal. They can protect themselves by just returning 1 Dawn every single time you try to remove them with an effect. Okay, so they go 5 into 3. We do let that card go just so we can draw a card. We don't really want to protect that card. There's no reason to. They played out another Reiju blocker this turn. They're going to swing 9 into 5 because of that Brochet Blow. That was an 8K character that we just had to let go of because of that the 3 cost, I think it's called Brochet Blow or something like that. So we're going to cheat the Luffy out of life with the 2 cost, and now we're just going to keep beating in, guys. And in this situation here, faces the place. That is an 8,000 power Sanji on the board. And look, they have Gum Giants in hand as well. So it's not like I can really take that card out. We just have to go. We have to keep going 7 at face here. We're going to push that card back, and then we're going to smash in probably for 8, maybe 9. We could also go 11 into 9 if they want to give me the blocker here. That's fine. Okay. They're going to 0 cost 3K, and then we're going to establish the Zoro. So this has an on KO to cheat out a 6,000 power or lower red character other than Zoro. So we don't actually have any card to cheat out with this, but that's okay. We don't have to have that effect. It would just be nice if we did. You know, if we had that kind of safety net where we could cheat out a character, but we can't. Okay, let's see what they do here. They're going to swing in for 9 into 7. Again, we're always going to take that first hit to get our Luffy back, right? We're always going to take 1 hit per game to get the Luffy back. Okay, I'm sorting through their trash right now. It's almost like I'm sorting through their deck because all their cards are in their trash. Watch this when I mouse over their library. They have 8 cards left in their deck, guys. 8 cards left in the deck. I'm about to mill them, right? We're about to mill them out of this game. Okay, here we go. They're going to swing for 7. 7 into 7. We can get out of that pretty easily. We have another Zoro in hand. We'll just give them the 1k counter. They play out another Sanji. They have 1 Dawn left. Okay, this is getting a little scary, though, at the same time, right? This is getting a little bit scary. And they keep us at 3 life. They kept us at 3 life there. We can't even play out the ace and do some combos there. We're going to swing for 7. We're just going to beat this guy down to the best of our ability. There's another Gum Gum Giant. They're going to go down to 6 cards in deck. They're going to draw and go to 5 cards in the deck. Again, guys, this is coming down to the wire here. We're about to just enter into, like, this is, you know, we're about to be threatening him from 2 different win conditions, milling him out of the game and taking the amount of life and dealing lethal. Very interesting deck this blue-purple Sanji is. It's similar to the way I was building it, but yeah, I can't wait to put more time into this leader. All right, so we're going to swing for 7, and then we're going to swing for 7 more, and we're going to be on 4 life and just hope for the best. As long as he can't take me out this next turn, we'll probably be okay. Because I think we've seen 3 Gum Gum Giants, but guys, honestly, he's gone through his entire deck. He's got to have it. It's got to be in his hand, right? It's got to be somewhere in his hand. He's got 5 cards left in his deck. Here we go. And he's been searching with the puddings as well, right? Because those can search for events. He swings in for 7. We're going to take that. We're always going to take that first hit, guys, so that we can get that pudding, the Luffy. And plus, we're only a 5k leader this turn, so that's kind of scary. So right here, I think we are going to 2k, 1k to get out of it, or just 2k, 2k to get out of this one. Because now he can swing with both of the Sanjis, and those are going through. They're like 10ks right now. So both of those attacks will go through. And then he has 7 Dawn left, I believe. So he can swing for 5 and then swing for 6. I can get out of either one of those, right? He attacks into the Zoro. I cheat out the Luffy, and it's like, hey, if you've got removal, you've got removal. I have to chance this. He plays out a Sanji blocker, and here we go, guys. That was very well played by him. We're going to have to do some tricks here because we're at 3 life. We can't even attack him with our ace. So we're going to use the Zeus here, make him, make him go Dawn -1 to save that character. We don't care. Okay, so now we're going to swing in for 7. Wait, almost messed up there. Almost messed up, and it would have cost me because watch how close this game is, guys. We're going to swing for 7. Okay, we're going to swing for 7. They take it. Any trigger. The only thing that can really save him here is a trigger. Now watch this. We're going to push this ace back into life, play out the 2 cost. We're going to swing for 7 more. This is going to force some type of response here. He only has 3 cards in hand. He has to do a 0 cost 3k. Now he can't use Gum Gum Giant because you have to trash a card to use the effect, and that's going to be game. Guys, the blocker... That came down to the very end. That came down to the wire, right? That was an incredible game there by the blue-purple Sanji player. They played that very well, especially for this being like a newer deck out. That was really good stuff, and we were super aggressive that game. Okay, let's go back to the deck list, and we'll wrap things up. I do think this version of the list is very good, but I think some changes I'll probably make going forward is I will probably be going back to a Straw Hat version of Red Yellow Sabo with a few of these new additions, especially like the Kuma. So like just to give an example, let me go to Red Yellow Straw Hat stuff. I'm probably going to go -4 of the Garp to go +4 of the Nami, and then I'm going to have more searchable Nami stuff in here. Like I know you can't search up the 1 cost Nami, but I'm never going to try to search that up. So either way, I'm going to probably get a Nami as my turn 1 play, and then Ace, I'm done with the card, guys. I'm just going to get rid of that in place of other stuff. And I don't know how much I like this Shanks. I might keep him in here as a 2 of, and then I'm probably going to build from here and even work in some of the removal we have access to in the form of like Gum Gum, Mole Gun, and stuff like that. I do want to keep Kuma in here probably as a 4 of because he lets us do a lot of tricks later on in the game. But this is probably the direction I'll be building Red Yellow Sabo going forward. I'm still going to have the Goa Kingdom stuff in here with the... I got rid of the Luffy instead of the ace, guys. That's too funny. Hang on 1 second. I got rid of the wrong 2 cost. There we go. So, but you guys, hopefully y'all knew what I meant. We got the 4 cost Luffy in here, and we got the 5 cost Luffy and the 2 cost Ace in here, 4 of each. And that's really the only thing I want from the Goa Kingdom package. And then I kind of just want to build more out on curve and go from there. I don't know if I'll keep all these Sabos in at that point because I'm going to be moving away from like the Goa Kingdom searchable stuff. I just want to have a good curve going out and going from there. Because another thing is I kind of want to complete the curve as well and go something more like, so turn 1 searcher, right? Let's just say we're going second because I think with the version I'm trying to build, I do think we want to go second, and that will look like this. Like turn 1 searcher, right? One of the searchers or the Dawn reassigner. Turn 2 Sanji or Kikanojo or this Shanks. That I did kind of like this card. And then turn 3 we get to smash in with Luffy or the Kuma. And then turn 4 going to like a 7 or 8 Dawn turn, we have access to Ben Beckman or Rayleigh or dragon or something like that. So that's kind of the direction I'm more leaning with the deck now. And we might also at that point add the 5 cost unblockable Luffy as well. If you attach 2 on the unblockable one, that could be a good combination as well. Now I am going to show off another version. Basically what I just explained there, I do have a version that I called curve, you know, like just trying to go out on tempo and try to curve out. And it's kind of what I was saying. I did show this off on stream yesterday at the time of recording this video and putting it out. I did a stream yesterday. For those who are wondering, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here on YouTube from 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m. We stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here on YouTube. Okay, and we were streaming yesterday, and I showed this deck off, and it was okay. I mean, notice this is a very basic version, and this version of the list, I was running these 2 cost event searchers as just, you know, my 2-drop, right? Always trying to go second. So this is basically my 2-drop, just searching up what we need, and then going out on curve. So 2 Dawn, and then into 4 Dawn, playing out the Basil Hawkins or the Kikinojo, into 6 Dawn, playing out the either the Nami or the Kuma, whichever one we got access to, and then on 8 Dawn we can play out the Beckman, Dragon, or Rayleigh, and then of course after that on 10 cost we can just go, you know, do whatever from there. This list is not nearly done, but I do like what's going on here. And who knows, maybe we cap the curve out with a 10-drop ace or something. Who knows? We'll have to do some testing and figure it out. But I do kind of like the idea of this, the direction of this. I think it needs some fine-tuning. Because one thing I noticed is not having that explosive package of like being able to smash in real quick with like a Luffy, the 5-cost Luffy, and life it, that does hurt against some of our matchups like Green Zoro. If I'm trying to just curve out, well, that's playing directly into a deck like Green Zoro that curves out better than probably most decks right now. It's probably like the best like mid-range tempo style deck in the game right now. So I don't think we want to try to compete with that. Instead, I'd rather just keep beating them down with the aggro package. And that might be the future direction of this deck, is maybe I, you know, move some numbers around, drop down some of these dragons, drop down some of these searcher events, and then go the whole entire Go a Kingdom package. Like maybe we go -2 dragons, -2 of each of these events here. We'll go down to like, you know what, we have 6 spots open now. Actually, let's even go down a few more. We'll go like -1 of this Rayleigh, and maybe we go -1 of something like maybe the Ben Beckman. I don't know. Either way, we'll adjust the numbers later, but what I was going to say was once we do that, then we can go +4 of this Luffy and then +4 of this Luffy. So we still have like some 1K counters. That, you know, we lost some 1K counters. We lost a Ben Beckman, and actually, was that it? Because we went -2 Dragon, -4 of the events, and then -2 of these characters. So we only lost a single 1K counter, but we gained 4. So we went +3 1K counters by going up these Luffys, and then all the rest were bricks anyway that we replaced with Luffy, which is a brick, but it's like a more aggressive one. But anyway, so here's what we're messing with right now. It's not finished. This is just a work in progress. This is probably what I will show off in my next Red Yellow Sabo update video. All right, well, that's it, guys. I'm done yapping. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Let me get the outro page on here real quick. Okay, big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, using my TCG player affiliate link. If you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, a Discord community, whatever you're doing to help me out, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. All right, I'm done. Till next time, guys. Peace.